So it is that time again. It is time for another trip announcement, and this time it is going to be a double trip announcement. I'm going to let you know about the 2 final Disney trips I have for 2023, which I'm very, very excited about. So my next trip is actually going to be back to Disneyland Paris, but I'm going to be there for the grand finale of the 30th anniversary celebrations at the end of September. This is just a short little trip. It's just going to be 3 days. So the first day will be mostly travel, but luckily that time of year the parks are open a little later, so I will still get some park time, a full day the next day, and then most of the last day, which will actually be the 30th anniversary day. It is such a shame that I'm not going to be there to see the night out of the actual 30th anniversary itself, but the hotel room rates were skyrocketing for that Saturday night. Saturdays are always super expensive at Disneyland Paris, and with it being the grand finale, it was extortionate. It was so much more than the whole rest of the trip, which was crazy. So I'm going to be there for most of the day, so I should be able to see most of the festivities. This trip I'm going to be going with my friend Peter. You may have seen him in my May series when I went to Disneyland Paris. We met up, we had an amazing time, so I cannot wait to be going with Peter. It's our first time doing a proper trip together, so that's going to be amazing. We are going to be staying at the Hotel Cheyenne for this trip. I really like this hotel. Peter is a massive Toy Story fan, so it's going to be the perfect place. We actually got really good room rates because Peter booked with his annual pass, and it's actually because of this that I actually ended up buying my own annual pass. I was going to need to buy park tickets because when you book with an annual pass, your park tickets aren't included with your room, which they would be if you just booked directly with Disneyland Paris normally. And then because of this, the difference between buying the tickets and getting the annual pass wasn't too much, so I was like, let's just get the annual pass. I also get all the other benefits, and then any other trips in the next year I can also be covered with my park tickets with the annual pass. So for this trip I'm actually going to be flying with BA again, but this time I'm just taking a cabin bag. When I went in January and there was the whole palaver about having to wait so long to drop your case off and then having no time in the airport, I'm skipping over this time. If you have a cabin bag, you can go straight through security and into the airport, so because of that I won't be having any of this rushing around. I'll be able to have my Wagamamas in a more relaxed style, maybe look in some shops, so I'm very much looking forward to that. The reason I went with BA this time is simply because of the price. I always look up BA and EasyJet, and actually the flights were around the same price. My preference would actually be EasyJet, but when I looked up the airport parking, Heathrow was much cheaper, which is very unusual because Heathrow is normally much more expensive than Gatwick. But because of this, I've ended up going with BA this time. I'm going to be getting a lunchtime flight, which is really, really nice. I much prefer going a bit later in the day. I used to do the like 8:30 a.m. flights, but I would always get a migraine. I'd always feel terrible because you've been up so early. So skipping over that, although you get a few less hours in the park, it is just such a nicer experience, so very happy to be doing that. And on the return journey, my flight is quite late at night, so I should get a lot of time in the park on the actual 30th anniversary day, which I'm super excited about, so we're kind of still managing to maximise our time there. My plan is also to get the high-speed train from Charles de Gaulle to Disneyland Paris. This is my preferred way. I love that it takes just 10 minutes, it's so easy, and if that is going ahead, and I say if because the March trip, we had lots of problems because there was strikes going on, so fingers crossed that will all be resolved. But if I do manage to use the high-speed train, that I will be using the Luggage Express. I had this booked for March and we didn't actually get to use it in the end because all the trains were cancelled, but I'm very much in love with this service. The fact that you can leave your bags at the train station, they take them to the hotel, but they give you your park tickets, so you go straight in the park, is fantastic, and it just means you get so much more time. You're not having to faff about going all the way to the hotel and check in and all of that. You can do that later, which is perfect. And it'll also be super handy because you also get your return journey included. So on my final day, I can spend as much time in the parks as possible, and I won't need to go all the way to the hotel to collect my bags. I can just go straight to the train station, get on the train, head to the airport. I think seeing the finale of the 30th anniversary will be so amazing, but also most likely very emotional. It's been such a fantastic experience, and I think the 30th celebrations have been great. Obviously, my favourite thing has been Dream and Shine Brighter, so I'm going to try and see that as many times as possible. I really, really hope they decide to keep it because it's genuinely the best parade I've seen in any Disney park, and it's so beloved that it would be insane to get rid of it. So I'm like, please keep it, but if not, I'm going to try and pack it in as many times as possible during this trip. It will also be really interesting to see the new lines of 30th anniversary merch that have just come out. It's kind of odd that they're still releasing new merchandise to do with the 30th anniversary now, because obviously it's getting closer to the end and most people people, when they visit this time, it will be the last time they're there during the 30th anniversary, so you won't get much use out of the stuff. Obviously you don't have to wear it only in the 30th anniversary, but I think a lot of people, when they went at the beginning of the anniversary, it was nice to buy things. Like I have my Chip and Dale ears, and I've managed to wear them for all of the trips I've had during the 30th anniversary, so it seems a bit odd to have waited this long to be releasing new merch. But the Dream and Shine Brighter merch range will be interesting to see. I've seen it online and I'm not like a huge fan, which is probably good for my bank balance, but it'll be good to see what is there, if there's any last bits and bobs. What's also really fun is there will be some new experiences there. One of the things me and Peter have already booked is the Princess Dining for breakfast. This is just about to return very soon. I've never done the breakfast. I've never actually done a breakfast in the park. I did it many years ago, but not recently, where it is typically a buffet at Plaza Gardens and I'm avoiding the buffets. I haven't done a breakfast, so I am very excited to go to this. It's returning with a new menu and there is going to be a vegan option this time, so I'm excited to try it. And we're actually going on the morning of the 30th anniversary, so we're going to be the first people in the park getting those castle shots on the final day. I think it's going to be such an amazing way to start the day. Something I'm super excited about is Disney Dreams has returned. This was one of my favourite fireworks shows at Disneyland Paris and it is now back. I cannot wait to see it again. There were parts of Illuminations I liked, but it wasn't my favourite show, but Dreams is so good, so I cannot wait to get to see that again. And we've just heard the news that Avengers Power of the Night is going to be coming back in September, which is so good. It's so amazing, this drone show, so definitely going to go and check that out. I loved it. I know lots of people were worried, is it going to come back, is it not, why are they cancelling it for a while? I think it's because in the summer when that park shuts it's not dark enough to do the show, so hopefully this will keep coming back throughout different times of the year because it's so good. Something that I'm also looking forward to is just so many people I know through social media and friends are going to be there. So I am very excited to kind of get to meet up with so many people. I think it's going to be like a really party atmosphere, really fun. So it'd be really cool if you bump into lots of different people here and there. I know for sure that my friends Ellie and Mitchell, who have a YouTube channel called It's Ellie and Mitchell, are going to be there. They didn't actually realise it's the end of the 30th anniversary celebrations. They're actually going to celebrate Mitchell's birthday, so we will be able to meet up with them, which will be super fun. And I just cannot wait to go and see what is in store. I don't know if they will be doing anything special to mark the end or if it will just be a regular day, but it will be just very busy with lots of people all coming out to see their final goodbyes to all of the celebrations. But it will be good to see what the parks are like. I do think it is going to be super busy though, so I feel like this trip will most likely be more of a kind of fun, you're in the atmosphere, you're there for an event rather than getting on a lot of rides, because I feel like the queues are going to be crazy. I will be super sad to see all of the decorations going. I love the character costumes. I've really enjoyed seeing the Gardens of Wonder statues and of course Dream and Shine Brighter, so it will be interesting to see what Disneyland Paris will be like without the 30th anniversary. I don't know if it will feel a bit like something's missing because we've had it for so long. I think it's been there 18 months in total, so it will be weird to be back with no kind of anniversary celebrations, but I am wondering if they will do anything around the 100th anniversary celebrations. So that is my September trip, not much longer now, so I'm quite excited to go back. I think it will just be such a unique trip because we're there to kind of celebrate an event, so I think that'll be so fun to explore. And it's nice that there's still new things to see, which I really like, because it gives your trips so much variety when you get to try new things or see new things every time you go. And my second trip to announce is I will be heading to Disneyland in Anaheim this November. I am so excited for this. I've been to Disneyland twice before, but once was just for one day, and then the second time we were there 3 days, but it was so busy, so we probably got to do maybe half the things on offer. So I cannot wait to go back and do a like full deep dive, do everything at Disneyland, and I just can't believe I'll go back. It's gonna be so good. Also, since my last trip, that was around 6 years ago, there's lots of new things now. So they have Avengers Campus and Galaxy's Edge. Toontown has just been rethemed and reopened, so I cannot wait to go and have a look. It's really interesting because Disney World and Disneyland Paris I know so well. I know them like the back of my hand, where to eat, what to do, but Disneyland is like a whole new kettle of fish, so I'm really enjoying doing all the research for it. Something that I really like about Disneyland is because because it is right in the heart of Anaheim, there is tons of different accommodation options. Disneyland itself does have 3 on-site hotels, but they are astronomically expensive. I'm going to be there for 6 nights, and the cheapest Disney hotel was over £7,000. I don't know how anyone is staying there. And it's such a shame because apart from having Disney theming in the hotels, you only get the benefit of being in the parks 30 minutes early. So you don't really get much for all the extra money you're paying. So I don't know what the benefit is to staying at them, honestly. Originally, I had booked a super cheap hotel. It was just over £500 for 6 nights. Now, it was just going to be like a motel basic kind of room, and it was about 20-25 minute walk to the parks. But because of my foot, I decided, you know what, I want to pay a bit more and be closer to the parks, because when I was at Disney World and I was having the breaks in the day, it helped me massively. So I'm going to do that again at Disneyland. So I actually switched to the Anaheim hotel. This hotel is opposite the entrance to Disneyland Park. It's maybe a 5-minute walk, which is fantastic. So it's going to be so convenient to be able to pop back and forward to the hotel. And when your feet are super tired at the end of the day, it's not too far a walk. This hotel did cost more than my original hotel, but it ended up costing me £940. And to be opposite, I thought that was really good, seeing as if you stay at the Disney hotel, it was over £7,000. I did also get an offer on this room. It had almost £500 off, so it was very, very good price. I also really love that it was one of the original hotels that was built in that area, and it was designed like a 1950s motel style, and they've really kept it the same, but updated it, modernised it, but really kept that like retro 50s theming. So I think it looks like such a cute hotel. There are tons and tons and tons of hotels all around the park, so there are so many to choose from, and even the most expensive hotels right opposite the parks were less than £2,000. So again, I don't understand how the Disney hotels themselves are charging so much more, because it's not even a marginal difference, it's extortionately more expensive. Something else I was very lucky with was my flights. So I am flying with Virgin again, but what I actually did is I booked my flights through Air France. They had a special offer on when I booked, and I knew that I would be flying on a Virgin plane, so it was the perfect deal. When I looked up the flights with Virgin themselves, it was coming out at just over £1,600 return to Los Angeles. The tickets I managed to book with Air France cost me £540. It is unbelievable that I had more than £1,000 savings by booking with Air France, even though I'm going on a Virgin plane. It's the exact same flight, but I saved that much money by just booking with a different company. This was such a steal, and to be honest, when I was kind of formulating, do I go to California, do I not, I was just curious to see what the sort of prices were. And then when I saw these flights and then I saw the offer on the hotel room, it was like everything was falling into place and being like, you need to go, because I was getting such big savings that it was just like, you can't not go. The universe is telling you have to go. And I was lucky again because I brought my tickets and they also had 10% off. I bought a 5-day park hopper ticket with attraction tickets. I've used them for Orlando before and really like the company, so I was really happy to do it for California too. Something that you are able to do is add Genie Plus on to the cost of your trip. I did this. It works out about $25 a day, but something that's really cool in California is if you buy Genie Plus, it also includes Photo Pass. So I thought for $25 that's actually really good, because you're getting to just skip the rides but also all of your photographs. And as a solo traveller, I utilise the Photo Pass photographers all the time to get those amazing photos and the full body shots, and I love the magic shots, so I cannot wait to be getting that as part of the Genie Plus package. So at the moment, my first day will be a full travel day. The next day will be when I start my 5 days of going into the parks. On my final day, my flight is not till 9:30 at night, so I have kind of a full day to take up. So I am contemplating maybe getting a 1-day ticket and going back into the parks. The other option is maybe do a brunch at one of the hotels and then go around downtown Disney. But I feel like I know that by that point I would have done most of my shopping. So just wandering around window shopping might not take up the whole day. So I'm really contemplating getting another day, because I should be able to stay in the park until about 4 PM. So that is quite a long time. So it might be worth it. Because if you're going to go to Disney, just go to Disney, do the full out experience, get the whole thing, do for 6 days, amazing. I would say the only downside to Disneyland is getting there. So from the airport to Disneyland, you can get private transfers, but they start at around $120 each way and then go up in cost. They are really expensive. A lot of people have said just use Uber or Lyft. These are about $60 each way, so significantly cheaper. I've only used Uber twice, both times at Disneyland Paris, where I knew I was going to be doing like a 5-minute journey, really short journey. So I've never used Uber for long distance, stuff like that. The only thing that worries me is, we all know I get travel sick, so I'm like, being in the back of a car for, the journey is meant to take around 40 minutes. Sometimes if you have bad traffic, it can take 2 hours. So the concept or the thought of being in a car for that long does kind of stress me out a bit. So I don't know whether to book a private transfer and then you know what type of car you're getting. But all my friends have said they've used Uber before and it's always been comfortable, it's been good. And where you rate the driver, they want to give you a comfortable, good experience, because otherwise you could give them a bad rating. So if you've got any experience with like Lyft or Uber, do let me know what you like, what you didn't like about them, would you recommend them? And yeah, that would definitely be the cheapest way to get back and forth. And like I say, one of the big downsides is the difference in the time it takes you to get there. Obviously Los Angeles traffic is famous. I'm hoping, because I'm going to arrive on a Saturday, that actually getting to the park shouldn't be too bad. You shouldn't have rush hour traffic, and it's just on the way back. Hopefully we won't get caught up in that, but there's always a possibility. But I am going to just factor in that extra time. I'm going to, in my head, say it's going to take 2 hours, and I can factor that in, so on my way back to the airport I can just give myself that time in case we do get caught up in traffic. Something I am super excited about at Disneyland is the food. This is known to be a foodie destination. People visit purely just to go and eat. Like, all the locals rave about it, so I cannot wait to dine here. They also have amazing plant-based options just like Disney World, and something that I really think is cool is that actually the food is much cheaper in Disney in California, I found, and also there's a lot more great options in quick service restaurants, so that way that cuts the cost down anyway, because you're just eating quick service more, gives you more time to be in the parks rather than sitting down having a meal. And yeah, I love that. Like, when I go to Disney World, I tend to do a mix of table service and quick service, whereas at Disneyland it looks like I'm going to do mostly quick service because the options are just so good. Something that I think will be so magical is that it will actually be Christmas time when I'm there. They will have all of the decorations up, the parades, the nighttime shows, all Christmas themed. Disney is like the most Christmassy place on earth, so I cannot wait. I have been to Disneyland Paris as they were setting up for the Christmas season, so I kind of got 2 days where I got to experience it, but I've never been to Disney during a Christmas time trip specifically, so I cannot wait to experience that. I think it's gonna be so cute. The thing that's interesting is obviously in Disney World you have the extra ticketed event, which is the Christmas party, whereas at Disneyland they don't actually do this. They just do it kind of similar to Disneyland Paris, where the Christmas decorations are up all the time and everything switches to Christmas. I am a little bit disappointed in the fact that Disneyland is doing lots of celebrations for the 100th anniversary, and I feel like I'm not going to see any of them because I think everything will have been changed over to Christmas, but I don't 100% know. So closer to the time I should get a better idea via the website of what is actually going to be on, what's going to be happening and what won't be. But I really hope that I do get to see some of the 100th anniversary things, because I think it'll be so cool. It seems like California is the destination where they're really going full out for the 100th anniversary, so it'd be great to see that. Something that I really want to do whilst I'm there is Walt's apartment tour. Of course, it is super famous that Walt Disney had an apartment on Main Street in Disneyland, and you could do a 90-minute tour where you would go actually inside the apartment. You hear lots of stories. You also get to go out on the balcony, look over Main Street whilst having snacks and drinks. It sounds incredible, and if you are someone who loves the history of the Disney parks or admires Walt Disney, I think this is the most epic thing to do. When I did the Keys to the Kingdom tour at Disney World, it was one of the highlights of my trip. I absolutely loved it, and I feel like this could be the same. And because I'm going to be only there for 5 or 6 days, I am thinking about doing a dessert party. I think this will be a really great way to get a good space and see the fireworks with unrestricted views, no kids on shoulders. That's the big one. and I don't really like getting to fireworks super early. If there's somewhere you can sit, it's not too bad, but with my foot I cannot stand on the spot for a long period of time, so I don't like to turn up like an hour, 2 hours in advance. So I think a dessert party would be a great way to navigate around this, and then that way you're getting a fun experience, you're getting a really good viewing platform for the fireworks, but you're also being able to maximise your time in the parks because you're not having to just stand around waiting for the fireworks to start. This trip will be a solo trip, and I am so excited to have a solo trip again. Solo is actually my favourite way to visit Disney, and I just think it will be so fun to kind of throw yourself in, and you can just do the parks however you want. And because I kind of am unfamiliar, it'll be great to kind of just do the things on your schedule, experience the things you want to do. So I think it'll be really nice to kind of get the lay of the land and then fully dive into all the things I want to experience there on a solo trip. Something that is interesting about Disneyland is you can't book your park pass reservations when you buy your tickets, so I won't actually be able to book them until around July time. So that feels really odd because I've had these tickets since January and you just can't do anything at the moment, so it's a lot of waiting. I will also book a handful of table service restaurants at the 60-day mark, just like at Disney World, and also try and book Walt's apartment tour. So it feels funny that you've got the trip booked, but I haven't got my park days booked, haven't got any dining or tours or anything booked. It kind of feels a bit more last minute compared to Disney World, which you can book most things really far in advance. So that does feel a bit strange, a bit unfamiliar, but I am very excited to go and dive fully into Disneyland. I think it's going to be a really nice time of year to visit. I think it'll be great to be there longer so you can really experience everything. I can't wait to compare kind of their Galaxy's Edge and Avengers Campus. It's going to be loads of unique rides. I'm really looking forward to Indiana Jones, which is really unique there. You've got Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I think it's going to be so fun. The food's going to be excellent. And just being out in California, such a nice place. Like, I really enjoy being in California. So yeah, I can't believe it's happening. It was kind of like a spur of the moment thing at the beginning of the year, but when all of these prices were so cheap, I was like, you just got to go. This is the universe saying this is the time to go, and I cannot wait for it. I will be vlogging both of these trips, which I'm so excited about. I think it's going to be so fun to bring you along and just to kind of experience everything firsthand, what the 30th anniversary is like, and then getting to see everything that is Christmas at Disneyland. The 30th anniversary vlogs on YouTube will start in October, and then the Disneyland trip will start in the new year, but Patreon gets the vlogs first, so they will be coming early, which is fantastic. If you have any Disney trips coming up, let me know in the comments where you are going, what you're most excited for. I love hearing about other people's trips. I feel like I get to like live through other people's Disney trips too, so do let me know of that. I cannot wait to share these trips with you, and it's going to be new adventures. I cannot wait.